The digital age has brought unprecedented connectivity. It has also ushered in new forms of peril. In late 2024, the United States confronted a stark example of this reality. A sophisticated Chinese espionage campaign, codenamed Typhoon, came to light. Senator Mark R. Warner, chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, did not mince words. He described it as the worst telecom hack in our nation's history. This was not hyperbole. The operation represented a significant escalation in cyber warfare. Its tendrils had been silently weaving through critical infrastructure for a considerable time, demonstrating a chilling patience and capability. The full implications are still being processed today, in May 2025. The sheer scale of the Typhoon breach is staggering. Reports indicate that the personal data of over 1 million mobile phone customers was illicitly accessed and stolen. This wasn't a minor intrusion into a single poorly secured entity. The attackers successfully compromised at least 8 or 9 major U.S. telecommunications providers. Household names like Verizon, AT&T, and Lumen Technologies found their networks penetrated. The attackers demonstrated an ability to navigate complex, supposedly secure systems. This widespread infiltration underscores a systemic vulnerability within the nation's communication backbone. It raises serious questions about the inherent security of interconnected digital services. The nature of the stolen data reveals the depth and intimacy of the intrusion. Hackers gained access to highly sensitive information. This included detailed call logs, showing who was communicating with whom and when. They could also track the physical locations of targeted mobile phone users. In some instances, the attackers achieved an even more alarming level of access. They were reportedly able to monitor audio calls and read text messages in real time. This capability transforms a data breach into an active surveillance operation. It offers a near-complete view into the private communications and movements of individuals. The emergence of Typhoon serves as a grim reminder. Our reliance on complex technological systems creates equally complex vulnerabilities. The attackers were not merely data thieves. They were digital spies operating on an industrial scale. The campaign has been active since at least 2023, operating in the shadows before its eventual discovery. This prolonged period of undetected activity highlights the challenges in identifying and neutralizing advanced persistent threats. The nation's security apparatus is now grappling with the fallout. Understanding how this happened is crucial to preventing its recurrence. The digital shadows are long, and vigilance must be constant. The methods employed by the Typhoon hackers were both sophisticated and insidiously simple. They primarily exploited the inherent relationships of trust that exist between telecommunications networks. These networks are designed to interconnect seamlessly, allowing calls and data to flow smoothly across different providers. However, this very interconnectedness became a pathway for intrusion. Once the attackers gained a foothold in one network, they could leverage established trust protocols. This allowed them to move laterally, jumping from one compromised provider to another. It was a digital domino effect, cascading through the telecom ecosystem. The hackers didn't just dip their toes in, they waded deep into the US telecom infrastructure. Over a dozen telecommunications companies were ultimately penetrated. This wasn't a brute force assault on a single fortress. It was a methodical campaign of identifying and exploiting weaknesses in the linkages between systems. Each compromised company became a stepping stone. This strategy allowed the intruders to expand their access far beyond their initial point of entry. The interconnected nature of modern communications, while beneficial for users, proved to be a significant vulnerability. It demonstrated that the security of the whole is only as strong as its weakest, interconnected link. One of the most unsettling aspects of the Typhoon campaign is its persistence. Even after the breach was identified and publicly acknowledged in late 2024, the threat lingered. As of November 21, 2024, U.S. officials admitted that intruders were still present within some of the compromised networks. By December 2024, 5 months before today, authorities could not definitively confirm the complete expulsion of the Chinese hackers. This highlights the extreme difficulty in cleansing complex networks once deeply infiltrated by skilled adversaries. These attackers are not easily dislodged. They dig in and attempt to maintain their illicit access. The attackers demonstrated a high degree of technical proficiency and operational security. They navigated the intricate architectures of modern telecom networks with apparent ease. Their ability to maintain a persistent presence even amidst remediation efforts speaks volumes about their capabilities. This was not the work of amateur hackers. It was a state-sponsored operation, characterized by meticulous planning and execution. The Salt Typhoon campaign underscores the evolving nature of cyber threats. Adversaries are constantly refining their techniques, forcing defenders to adapt continuously. The challenge is immense, requiring not just technological solutions, but a fundamental rethinking of network trust models. The Salt Typhoon hackers did not cast their net randomly. Their targets were specific and highly significant, indicating a clear intelligence-gathering motive. Among those whose communications were compromised were top government officials within the Biden administration. This reportedly included a cabinet secretary and a prominent White House Homeland Security advisor. Such targeting strikes at the heart of national governance. Access to the communications of these individuals could provide foreign adversaries with invaluable insights into policy decisions, internal deliberations, and sensitive national security matters. The potential for blackmail or manipulation also cannot be discounted. The list of high-profile targets extended beyond the incumbent administration. Individuals associated with the then-incoming administration were also surveilled. This included President-elect Donald Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. Staff members of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer also found their data compromised. This broad targeting across political lines suggests a comprehensive effort to gather intelligence on key figures shaping American policy. It highlights how cyber-espionage can be used to gain an advantage in geopolitical maneuvering. The breach created an environment of uncertainty and concern among the nation's political leadership, knowing their private communications might have been exposed. Beyond the direct surveillance of individuals, the breach had other alarming dimensions. The hackers reportedly accessed data related to sensitive warrants pursued by the Department of Justice. This is a particularly grave development. Such information could reveal individuals who are under federal investigation, potentially tipping them off or otherwise compromising ongoing law enforcement operations. The integrity of the justice system relies on the confidentiality of such investigations. Exposing this data not only jeopardizes current cases but also erodes trust in the ability of law enforcement to protect sensitive information. The ripple effects of this specific compromise are far-reaching and deeply concerning. The impact of Salt Typhoon is therefore not just a matter of stolen data bits and bytes, it is profoundly human. The individuals targeted face the violation of their privacy and the potential misuse of their personal information. For government officials, it adds a layer of operational insecurity. They must now operate under the assumption that their communications could be intercepted. This can have a chilling effect on open discussion and decision-making. More broadly, it undermines public trust in the security of essential communication services. The psychological toll on those directly affected and the wider implications for national security culture are significant components of this attack's legacy. In the wake of Salt Typhoon's discovery, federal authorities scrambled to respond. The immediate priority was to assist the affected telecommunications companies. Federal agencies provided these companies with technical remedies and intelligence. The goal was to help them detect the ongoing intrusion and prevent further attacks. This involved a collaborative effort between government and the private sector, a necessary partnership in combating such widespread threats. However, the scale of the breach meant that quick fixes were elusive. The attackers had embedded themselves deeply, making eviction a complex and painstaking process for the telecom giants. Despite these efforts, the full scope of the Salt Typhoon campaign remained under assessment for many months. As recently as December 2024, U.S. officials acknowledged they were still working to understand the complete extent of the data compromised. Crucially, they could not confirm that the Chinese hackers had been entirely expelled from all affected networks. This uncertainty, persisting months after the initial public disclosure, is a testament to the attackers' sophistication. It underscores the challenge of achieving complete network sanitation after an advanced persistent threat has gained deep access. The digital battlefield is often murky, and victories are hard-won and harder to confirm. The Salt Typhoon incident has, unsurprisingly, intensified calls for stronger cybersecurity measures. There is now a significant push for the implementation of minimum security standards, particularly for critical infrastructure sectors like telecommunications and healthcare. Such standards aim to establish a baseline level of defense across industries that are vital to national security and public welfare. Past reliance on voluntary measures has proven insufficient against determined state-sponsored actors. The hope is that mandated security protocols will make it more difficult for future attackers to achieve such widespread success, hardening potential targets across the board. Ultimately, Salt Typhoon serves as a stark lesson in the ongoing struggle for cybersecurity. As of May 2025, the efforts to fully secure U.S. telecom networks are continuous. The incident has highlighted the dynamic and evolving nature of cyber threats, demanding constant vigilance and adaptation. National security in the 21st century is inextricably linked to digital security. Preventing future breaches of this magnitude will require sustained investment, international cooperation, and a proactive approach to identifying and mitigating vulnerabilities. The storm of Salt Typhoon may have passed its peak, but the need for resilient defenses and a culture of security remains more critical than ever before.